Anthropic just launched a certification for something most companies haven't figured out how to hire for yet. People who can actually architect production systems with Claude. Teams everywhere are building agent loops that make real decisions, tool schemas wired into live business systems, multi-agent workflows running in actual production, and most of it is happening without any real standard for what doing it right even looks like. That's the gap this certification was built to close. The Claude Certified Architect Foundations certification tests exactly that. Real scenarios, agent loops, tool design, workflow trade-offs, the same judgment calls you'd make on the job, covering Claude Code, the Agent SDK, the API, and the Model Context Protocol. In this session, we're working through scenario-based practice questions built the same way because this exam rewards judgment, not memorized definitions. Let's get into it. Question No. 1. You are integrating Claude Code into your continuous integration, continuous deployment, CI/CD pipeline. The system runs automated code reviews, generates test cases, and provides feedback on pull requests. You need to design prompts that provide actionable feedback and minimize false positives. Your automated review calls the Claude API for each pull request, using tool, use with a report, findings tool that returns a JSON array of finding objects. Each object contains file, path, line, number, severity, category, and description. During testing on a large pull request touching more than 30 files, the response reaches the max tokens limit and is truncated in the middle of the JSON, causing your pipeline's parser to fail. What is the most effective way to handle this? A. Split the review into multiple API calls that each analyze a subset of the changed files and then merge the resulting findings arrays. Increase max tokens to the model's maximum and instruct Claude to keep each finding description under 50 words. C. Switch from tool, used to prompting Claude to return findings as a markdown list. D. Add retry logic that detects truncated JSON and resends the request with instructions to report only critical and high-severity findings. Correct answer, A. Split the review into multiple API calls that each analyze a subset of the changed files and then merge the resulting findings arrays. Explanation. Option A is correct because the issue is the model reaching its maximum output limit, max, tokens. Dividing the pull request into smaller file groups keeps each response manageable while maintaining the required report, findings, structure. The results can then be validated, combined, and deduplicated safely. B. Only delays the same output limit problem. C. Breaks the structured response format. D. May remove useful findings. Therefore, splitting the review into smaller batches is the most reliable and scalable solution. Question No. 2. When implementing your lookup, order, MCP tool, the backend sometimes returns errors. For example, order not found, or temporary database failures. What is the correct pattern for communicating these errors back to the agent? A. Return the error message in the tool result content with the isError flag set to true. B. Return a successful response with a status field indicating the error type. C. Log the error server side and return an empty result to avoid confusing the model. D. Throw an exception from the tool handler so the agent framework can catch and log it. Correct answer. A. Return the error message in the tool result content with the isError flag set to true. Explanation. Option A is correct because MCP requires tool execution failures to be returned with isError true. The response should clearly explain the problem and, when possible, provide guidance for recovery. B. Incorrectly reports failure as success. C. Gives the agent insufficient information to recover. D. Uncaught exceptions are not the proper MCP error response contract. Therefore, returning a concise, actionable isError true result is the correct approach. Question No. 3. A customer sends. This is frustrating. I've explained my issue twice, and nothing is being resolved. I want to talk to a real person now. The agent has not yet called any tools to investigate the customer's account. What should the agent do? A. Briefly explain what the agent can help with and offer to resolve the issue quickly, escalating only if the customer repeats the request. B. First call get, customer and lookup, order to gather account context, and then escalate to a human agent. C. Immediately call escalate to human with the conversation history. D. Acknowledge the frustration and ask one targeted question to understand the specific issue before escalating. Correct answer, C. Immediately call escalate to human with the conversation history. Explanation. Option C is correct because the customer has clearly requested human assistance. The agent should escalate immediately without asking unnecessary questions, collecting account details, or delaying the transfer. A. Unnecessarily delays escalation. B. Performs unnecessary tool calls and may expose account information. D. Adds another unnecessary barrier. Therefore, transferring the conversation with the existing chat history provides the human agent with the necessary context and respects the customer's request. Question No. 4. During testing, when a customer says, "I need a refund for my recent purchase," the agent immediately invokes process, refund, but populates the required order, id parameter, with a plausible-looking fabricated value, instead of first calling lookup, order. The refund fails because the invented order identifier does not exist, which change directly addresses the root cause of the fabricated order, id. A. Update the process, refund tool description to state explicitly that order, ID must come from a successful lookup, order result, and must never be assumed, inferred, or invented. B. Change tool, choice, from auto to any, so Claude must call a tool on every turn. C. Add server-side validation that checks whether order, ID exists before attempting the refund and returns an error when it does not. Pre-process customer messages to extract any mentioned order identifiers and inject them into the conversation before sending the request to Claude. Correct answer, A. Update the process, refund tool description, to state explicitly that order, ID must come from a successful lookup, order result, and must never be assumed, inferred, or invented. Explanation. Option A is correct because it clearly defines the tool, prerequisite, and parameter source. Claude should first call lookup, order, use only the valid order, id returned from that call, and request more information if no order is found. B. Does not specify which tool must run first. C. Detects the error but does not prevent it. D. Only works when the customer already provides an order ID. Therefore, explicit prerequisite and parameter provenance instructions are the best way to prevent fabricated tool arguments. Question No. 5. After investigating a billing dispute for more than 25 turns, you determine that duplicate charges resulted from a payment gateway timeout, triggering retry logic. The required refund of $847 exceeds your $500 authorization limit. So, you must invoke escalate to human. The human agent will not have access to the conversation transcript. What context should you pass to enable effective resolution? A. The complete conversation transcript containing every message and tool result. B. The customer's original complaint verbatim together with excerpts from the tool results showing the duplicate transactions. C. A structured summary containing the customer identifier, verified root cause, refund amount, relevant transaction identifiers, actions already attempted, and recommended next action. D. Only the diagnosis and refund amount. Correct answer. C. A structured summary containing the customer identifier, verified root cause, refund amount, relevant transaction identifiers, actions already attempted, and recommended next action. Explanation. Option C is correct because it provides the human agent with the key operational information needed to continue the case without reviewing the entire conversation. It includes verified details, duplicate transaction evidence, the timeout, retry cause, the $847 refund requirement, the $500 authorization limit, completed verification, previous actions, and the recommended resolution. A. Contains too much unnecessary information. B. Omits important authorization and verification details. D. Does not provide enough information to act safely. Therefore, a structured handoff with relevant facts, constraints, actions, and uncertainties is the most effective approach. Being early to a certification like this means something completely different than being early to a mature one. Passing the Claude Certified Architect Foundations certification proves you can design agentic architectures and orchestration for production systems. Work confidently with Claude Code, the Agent SDK, and the API. Apply the Model Context Protocol in real integrations. Make the kind of architectural trade-offs the exam actually tests, not just recall facts. This exam rewards practical judgment, not memorized definitions, and you can't lean on AI tools during the real thing. CertBoosters practice questions are built around the same scenario-based thinking the actual exam demands, so you walk in with the instincts already built. Links in the description. Go be one of the first architects to prove it.